builder class from Salesforce this week, although I was kind of a bad student. I had a class I had to teach in the meantime. But when I look, because I'm ramping up to certify to teach that class for Salesforce. And, they're really focused on that this is the developer. So they're really trying to make Platform App Builder the developer course that also includes the things that the original developer course didn't really have, the Dev 401, which was, it didn't really talk about the security model. So it's really focused on flow. There's a lot more flow in it than ever before. So as you practice and you study, it's really a good idea to really come up with scenarios and come up with flows that you want to try, or those kind of things, because I think the last couple of tests I've taken, it seems like whenever flow is one of the answers and you're choosing, then you just pick flow. It's a pretty good call.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you just took your admin test. There were quite a few questions on flow in the admin test too, weren't there?
Correct. That was kind of one of my strategies as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel pretty, do you like to be, do you do a lot of flows? Do you make a lot of flows?
I don't. I mean, I know that's where Salesforce is going. That's definitely something I need to put additional time and effort into, but I know enough to be dangerous, but I definitely need a lot more time and emphasis in it.
Honestly, I'm completely dangerous with flows, and because there's so many, and I think not a lot of people realize, at least not practically speaking from what I can tell. I mean, flows do everything, and I'm moving around a little bit trying to get in a better spot with the internet connection in my house. Flows do everything, right? I mean, pretty much fundamentally, it really can. I believe it's going to replace probably most of Apex code writing is going to become somewhat obsolete, because I mean, you can do just about everything with a flow. So why not, right?
Right.
So we'll see what it does. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's a great learning environment. Like when you're really trying to map business processes to software, like, the way people work, then you get that, you start to really understand how you're mapping the things that are happening in reality, right? The things that are actually happening in your business, and you're trying to capture that in forms of data. Flow gives you the ability to really make sure your data is robust and complete, so that you get the right picture, you get the right actions, the right things occur. I was on a call yesterday with Military Trailblazers. It's a Friday afternoon call. Bill Kuhler runs it. And there's a kid doing a flow, an opportunity, creating a project from a quote. So, it really helps you understand all the phases of the process, right? In sales, when you create an opportunity, you add products to it, right? And the products, they really give you that line item ability to kind of identify what you're selling, quantity, price, schedule, all those kind of things, right? So they sell something. The person was having a discussion on it. They were talking about how he was trying to get this project record to get created, a custom object for projects. And, the way they named, the problem he was having was his naming convention of fields in all the different objects. And from the quote, the problem we resolved was he just picked the wrong field that had a very similar naming convention.
Oh, same, yeah.
One of the things I tell people, one of the things I tell people in class is when I'm teaching end users, like how to create an opportunity or how to create a task. There's an opportunity to name a task or name an opportunity. And I tell people all the time, names will either help you or haunt you in the future. Like your ability to think about where data gets used from the beginning to the middle to the end of any kind of record or transaction records, to really understand all of it makes your life easier or harder as you go through it. And then look, the truth is, as an admin, or when you work in an org as the admin or the developer or whatever you want to call it, you're kind of not in control of all the things that the people did before you. But that's what makes our work so expensive, right? Because the people before us didn't do a good job. I think I'm setting up a client right now for the first time in a while, where I've kind of got a client that believes in moving slow to implementation instead of fast. And he's like, because I said, look, it's better to crawl before you walk and then run. And everything you need to have Salesforce do for you will cost $50,000 to $100,000, but we can do it, $1,000 at a time. And then you can actually get the benefit from each step of the process. So you don't have to unwind and unravel. So we're taking a lot more time in the preparation. I'm doing it for a couple of reasons myself. I'm trying to create a more standardized, slower approach for the kinds of customers that want their system to work now and in the future. So it's that, and then I can document that and help teach other consultants how to do the same thing if they get a chance. But you also have to take into consideration that's a work environment that I created, and I sold them on the idea. And so that'll take some education on our part as a company to help educate the market that's getting Salesforce. And if we have a chance to work with them, maybe identify our uniquenesses at Sales and Technology Consultants, so that, we, hopefully we'll have a different kind of process that makes a difference for the business owners and the users, so that they get the value out of Salesforce. I don't know. So, are you working in a Salesforce job right now?
Yes, I am.
What do you do?
I'm working for a consulting company out of Canada, which specializes in education cloud and field service lightning. Right now, I'm kind of getting into education cloud and as an associate consultant, doing just the grunt work, but definitely learning a lot. I think the app builder will help me, and then in the future, I think I'm going to take field service lightning probably early next year as well. So,
I'm one of my next 2 certifications, besides marketing cloud that I'm working on right now, is the field service lightning. So, so what we do on this channel, at least how it's evolved, right? I haven't really deliberately built this YouTube channel. I started out doing these lives just to have some content going out socially.
Right.
And some of my live content started to get traction. So I'm doing a little bit more on YouTube, and I'm sort of gathering up my strategy. But when I do live sessions, and I'll do live sessions during the week as well, study sessions, and I'm actually going to go through the field service lightning trail mix, or if they don't have one, a prep for cert, then I'll put one together. Because I just left last year. I did 3 field service lightning project implementations, and my last one ended in June. So it was like, I learned a lot about field service, and there's so much I know, I like about it. But I haven't got certified yet. So I'm working on certification as well. So anyway, what I'm saying is I'll do these live sessions and that's the training you got so far. I think you've gotten both, like the admin and the platform app builder.
Correct.
Have you started looking at the platform app builder stuff yet?
I have not. I think I just signed up last night. So.
Oh, was it last night? Okay, got it. So the admin class right now that I have in the little training portal is literally just me going through the trail mix prep live with a class. We did 2 hours a week 2 hours twice a week. We went through all the materials, and then people were ready and got certified. I'm going to do the same thing with Field Service Lightning, where we produce it live on our YouTube channel. But I'm in the process of re-editing those admin videos to be a little more polished, right? Because they're not that polished. They're like this. It's kind of random. I talk and I interrupt, and those things happen. But I'm gonna do the same thing with Field Service Live, and then we're gonna do an actual live platform app builder training. I'm hoping to do it in January. I don't think we'll have enough. I don't think we'll have enough people in December, plus because of holidays and all that, to kind of schedule it in. Right. So first couple weeks of January, we'll plug in that platform app builder, and that'll be live. So the Q&A and the interaction that you have with it, the practice exams, all that kind of stuff, the practice exercises, will be a chance for you to get live Q&A. But then we'll chop up that video, edit it, and make it training, online training ready. Right. But I'm going to do the same thing with Field Service Lightning. So with Field Service Lightning, I'll do, and I may actually start those next week because I need it. But there'll be recordings of it. I'll do it live. It's sort of the discussion where we kind of go over the trails and the system, so that everybody, because at some point you don't need somebody to teach you Salesforce. You just need somebody to help you, unravel all of the things. You really just got to get into whatever part it is and learn the terminology. I think that's one of the key benefits of it. So
I'm definitely interested in that.
What's that? Yeah. So I'll just keep it. I'll send the email out to anybody that's on the list to join because you're a student, you can join the live session via Zoom to have the interactive questions. But if you're not a student of SuperUser Academy, then you can just watch us live on YouTube, and you can post chats. I'll answer your chat, but the questions and answers are really for all of the enrolled students of SuperUser Academy. That's the goal of it. So I still got to get a good logo for it. So I'm still using my Trailhead Academy background, but I should probably change that. I don't know. We'll see. I'll do something to make the video right. But it's a good background for now. So anyway, what anything in particular you're struggling with? Anything you have a question about? Anything you have
I really just got on to ask you about, of course, your advanced admin. I know you kind of posted that out in YouTube. How long do you think you need to be on the platform to go from admin to advanced admin? As far as taking the certification?
It depends on the work you do daily. And I don't think Field Service and Education Cloud are going to match completely with that work. So here's the big thing about advanced admin. So I took the advanced admin test 3 times. I failed it twice, and I passed it the 3rd time. The difference between those 2 that I failed and the 1 that I passed was that what you can watch live on YouTube right now. That's all I did really to study for the advanced admin, is I went through all those live videos. Very little more, but it focused me on things that I wasn't very familiar with, that I understood conceptually. Territories, what is the other big one with advanced admin? Territories, a lot of the forecasting, a lot of really sales focused stuff that I thought, like, the reason I failed it the first 2 times, I didn't study at all. I thought, well, I already have Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Platform App Builder, and I teach the admin class, and I taught the Platform App Builder for other companies before I got with Salesforce. It's like I felt, I know enough about Salesforce, it's fine. But those areas that the way they test for the advanced admin, the scenarios, and the all or more, there's always more than one correct answer to choose from. And a lot of the questions are multiple choice. So if you get 1 out of 3, of the 3 you got to pick wrong, you're toast. And they all looked right when I did it. But when I went back and studied, I started to learn the distinctions that are part of advanced admin And so I think wait on the advanced admin until you get a couple more certs, especially like your platform app builder, your field service, and your education, because those are certs that are going to the study you do is going to directly impact the quality of the work you do for your company right now. And that's most important, right? So, you know, and then, because it's also the conversation you're in. So the features, the limits, the aspects of all of like education cloud, you're going to be in those discussions and your day-to-day job, because your coworkers are talking about it, your clients are talking about it. You have to handle problems that occur. So you're going to get probably somebody goes, hey, can you help me fix this? Do you have time to do that? Right? That's happening to you now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You're in the weeds, definitely.
You're in the weeds, right? So the weeds, in this case, actually make you more productive, right? They help you figure out, like, but you're in that game. And when it's like, do you play poker?
Yeah.
You play Texas Hold'em, or you play some other weird version of poker, like weird poker or Texas Hold'em?
I play a little Texas Hold'em. I'm not an avid poker player, but yeah, I play.
What you know when you're sitting at a poker table, and you got guys that are there that play poker all the time. You know, they're doing things and they're saying things that you kind of understand, but the more you hang around them, the more you understand, right? Oh, you got a set, or you got it on the flop, or you had it on the turn. And while while you may understand it as a beginner, you may understand what the turn is and the flop and a set. As you get more advanced, right, the more you hear that, the more you see it, the more you do it, it actually means something about the way that person plays poker to you than what it did when you first started playing poker, just understanding the basic terminology, right?
Understand,
and so that's kind of the way it is with Salesforce. Like it's a different kind of game. It's similar. It's all poker, but then you got Omaha and you got Pineapple, and you got all these different variations. And learning the variations is really a matter of what you spend your time doing. So I'm doing a live session this week on LinkedIn. I'm doing a LinkedIn session on Tuesday that challenges the idea that you need a certification to get a job. And Wallace, did you have your certification before you were hired?
I did not.
Or did you get it?
I was about to say, I can attest to that. That's correct. I did not have a certification.
Right. You can get a job without a certification, but you need certain skills that make you valuable to a company before they know that you understand Salesforce. Now, Salesforce certification proves to the world that you got a 65% score or better. But we don't know the score you got. We only know, now we could do some backtrack math. We could kind of figure it out, right? When you get your exam results, you can kind of figure out what your score actually was. You get a good idea. If everything's 65%, you got a 65%. But if you got 100%, 80%, 50%, 75%, all that, you could do the math. You could, there's a formula for it. But that doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you learn how to apply the right feature in Salesforce to the right problem in the business, so that you build a solution that works for the users and the stakeholders of that org, right? That Salesforce, that company's software. And so while a certification tells the world, I like to say to my classes, like, a certification tells the world that you're at least a D student. Now, if you got 5 certifications, maybe that means you're like a B student, right? Like you could be counted on because the information overlaps and all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, so I think you hit the admin says, I'm a, when you pass that, it says, I know about Salesforce. I don't know everything. I don't know, blah, blah, but you could prove to the world you understand what, a role is, a profile, a user, what objects are, how to do a report, how the reports are built. Like you have a better handle on it. And you're kind of showing off a little bit when you get more than one, which is fine. But I think focusing on the ones like Platform App Builder is good because Platform App Builder is a great certification along with the admin, because it says, okay, I understand the structure of Salesforce, that's the admin, and I understand how to take that structure and make things happen. That's the Platform App Builder, right? So I'm both working with users and data to produce results. That's what those two certs are, admin and Platform App Builder. They say, I really understand the user administration and I understand the automation. And then it's a matter of just acquiring the skills of solving the problem of what somebody else left you. Or, when you build out sales, if you were even go to work with those two certs for a company and you built their Salesforce, you're the guy creating problems for the future because you don't understand how problems from the past affect the present, right? Like when you inherit an org, you can kind of see all the problems of the earlier developers and that they built without knowing how the business is going to evolve or grow. But that's the advanced skill, and learning how to adjust Salesforce to change for those things is good. But if you're involved in any particular thing, like your education or your field service, those are the next certs I'd recommend you kind of focus on, because you're in the waters, you're swimming in that soup, all the ingredients are in your head. So the terminology is going to make a lot more sense on the test, and you'll be able to find out those little things that, answer B looks right, but C is really right because B's got this one little thing in it. And that just takes time and practice, right? As I've been training people for a while in Salesforce, I've discovered that people don't need a trainer after a while. And I don't know everything in Salesforce as a trainer, so I'm not like an all-in-one guru. There's nobody who's all-in-one. I mean, maybe some guys are, 5 to 10 people. There's a bunch of all-in-one guru types, but they're not. You're only good at what you do work on all the time.
Right.
But if you understand the concepts and you keep learning, you keep growing, you'll broaden your scope, and then to whatever your goal. What is your goal? Now that you have a job in the ecosystem, you have your first cert, you're working on your second. What's like your aspirational goal as you move forward?
Kind of like what you were saying earlier, what you're currently doing. I want to get a strong core understanding of Salesforce, and then probably go out and be an independent consultant and help companies from an individual perspective, being able to help set up orgs or fix orgs, and whatever certifications I end up with, whether that be education, field service, marketing cloud. I know that's kind of a mix. I still have. What's that?
Yeah, no, keep going. I like it. Yeah. What?
Just being able to, I would subcontract for someone, but being my own consultant really intrigues me in the future. So
I agree with you. So I started on this journey with Salesforce exclusively back in 2015. And the first year I was just on a project, and I'd taken the admin class, and I was on a project, and I thought, oh, that'll give me plenty of experience, and then I'll take the test when the project's over. And I did, and I failed because I didn't study anything. I didn't review the materials, right? We weren't talking the same Salesforce as an admin would talk.
Right.
Front end user Salesforce is very different than admin Salesforce, which is very different than developer Salesforce.
Right.
And so I went and retook the class, and then passed the test because it was all fresh. So passing the test is all about taking the test shortly after you've done your intensive study. So you got to remember those things, but using it. And I think what you're talking about is exactly what happened to me too. Like I said, I just want to teach it. And I really love teaching it. But I saw and trained and had people become consultants right in front of my eyes. I said, I want to do that. Because honestly, there was a job that I saw available for a consultant, and it was for about 400 grand a year. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that, right? But the road to that kind of consultant was a very different road than what most people who are hired as a consultant are, which are really the grunt workers, right? When you get hired for a consulting firm, what did you describe it when you said in the very beginning that you're doing did you say grunt work?
Grunt work, yeah.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, hey, go do this. And you're like, okay, I've heard that word before. Let me go figure it out, right?
Yep.
And by the way, that's the best learning that there is, because you go, all right, I can't ask them how to do it. And I know I could find help of what it is. So I got to figure it out on my own a little bit, right? So one of the things we're going to start doing a little bit more of, and this call has changed a little bit over time. But so I felt the same way. I wanted to be a consultant. So I worked, got my certs, got the teaching, did all that. And then I started my consulting practice in 2019, officially as sales and technology consultant. And immediately went on a training project, but started to help some clients. It took a little while, but I started with the Essentials edition thinking, oh, that'll be easy because it's all standard.
Right.
What I discovered was I needed some help in, gathering the business requirements, presenting back to the customer what I knew. Because here's what I found was a gap in my skills, is that I can listen, I know what they need, and I go build it. And then I show it to them, they go, because I didn't do all of the preparation work for the customer so that the customer knew that what I was delivering was what they wanted, and it met or exceeded their expectations when I was done. So my mode of work is to just see a problem, fix it, and come back with a solution. But when you're dealing with a customer as a consultant, you've got to be able to see the problem, but also have them understand the problem and how your solution actually fixes it.
Right.
Because I've been in many situations that didn't go well because I did a bad job of as an educator. I could tell it was missing, but that I needed to do a job of educating the customer and the state and the decision makers, not just a customer. Along the way, you probably do that with your job right now, right? You have to do these presentations, and you got to do the diagrams, and you got to do the journey. Like you got to take it slow with a customer. And I like to move fast, right? I like to make decisions, make things happen. So after 3 years of consulting, this summer, I really got to the point where I was like, wait a minute. You know what I really love to do is I love to train, but I wanted to be a consultant. And after 3 years of consulting, I realized, you know what I love to do more? I like training consultants. So you're in the right place, because what you don't know yet is that the whole purpose of SuperUser Academy is to develop people into an elite professional that serves the small and mid-sized market. That's my company. I want to build an army of elite professionals that serve the small to mid-sized market. And the reason is because there's a huge gap in when I was interviewing other consulting partners for Salesforce before I started my own. There was a theme that came up over and over again, which was, don't even bother talking to a Salesforce customer that has less than 50 seats. And I thought, wow. So if you're a Salesforce customer with less than 50 seats, right, you're like tier 2 or tier 3 customer to a partner. So they charge, you get hit with those $250 an hour rates, or maybe they mask it as a lower rate, but they still charge more hours because it's as much work to work with a small customer as a big customer. So what I'm taking, right? So, but that leaves a gap, and it's not fair to those smaller customers to not get the premier type of service that they can get from other partners. So I'm with you. I want to see, I think there's millions of jobs that are needed in the Salesforce ecosystem. There's like millions of admins that need to be trained to go do grunt work. And out of those grunts will arise the super users who want to add more value to their company, whether they're certified or not as an admin, but just even as a user. So I have a whole series of user certifications that I want to provide, that I'm going to provide. And the ability to also take the track to learn how to be a consultant. So over the course of the year, you're in a good time, because over the course of the next year, I'm going to be building out the training programs for people like you who want to, get a job, get started, get a certification or 2 or 3, but then really make that leap to become a Salesforce partner and to work with customers directly or indirectly as contractor or subcontract, right? And build their own business, because I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I took a job as a consultant, and my boss may watch this one day, my former boss may watch this one day and realize that it's my first real job. Like, this was my first real job. I only ever bartended and waited tables. And then I was an independent salesperson. I ran an independent agency. I had an independent marketing company. I worked under contract my whole life. I never worked W-2. I mean, some of my contracts were W-2, but wasn't how I was really a contractor. So I left this job realizing, well, I don't want a job as a consultant. I just want to train people to be their own boss and be their own consultant, and then provide them the tools and resources and everything they need that I had to go figure out trial and error on my own. I've curated a lot of tools and a lot of things to say, this isn't the only way, but this is a way to do things. Because prior to that, I did all the same stuff, but was always on different projects. So I never ran into the same methodology over and over. So it took me 3 years to develop, and it's still not even fully developed. Like, I'm still developing the procedures to capture it in data, right? So you can manage it through your Salesforce org that you're going to get when you're a partner. You're going to get an enterprise edition Salesforce org when you're a partner. It's going to be 2 licenses, and I think that's how it still works. So you can actually run a consulting practice for helping Salesforce customers. And so that's what I'm working to build over the next year. So certifications is just the beginning part of it. Accreditation, experience, and mentorship is going to be the other part. Because if you look at some of the former Q&A calls, and I don't have them well documented in the descriptions, but a lot of times what I want to create is a community of cohorts or just consultants that come together to publicly discuss and figure out, when you run into a situation, you have 10 pair of eyes looking at your org trying to help you solve the problem versus one, because that's the best, easiest way to get teaching and learning and solutioning happening in the real world, right? I was at a Dreaming conference, my first one back in 2018, and I was working I was volunteering in the hackathon room, and there was somebody there who spent 3.5 hours there. My shift was an hour, but I stayed the whole time till they figured out some kind of Facebook authentication login for a community site at the time. And there was like 20 people that came in and out of the conversation trying to figure it out. Turns out the documentation Facebook provided was incorrect. But I was just watching it happen, like, wow, these are really all smart people about different aspects of Salesforce all trying to help, trying to learn. I just want to do it in a little more systematic approach. And then again, publish it live for my YouTube channel visibility piece, but then chop it up and put it into a training that'll be a little more more digestible. I can package and perfect the training platform so that it's makes it easier to follow and all that. Hoping that's what it is. So your feedback about the trainings will always be great for me, because you're going to have the live platform app builder training that I recorded when I taught just a straight 5-day class. But the one we do live is going to be updated to be more appropriate to what the certification is now. And we'll do a lot more with flows. Like the first one doesn't have any flows really in it, because it was a couple of years ago that I recorded it. So it's got to get up to date, and that's what the live, but it'll give you the fundamental stuff. So, but I think you're on the right path so far. And
thank you. I appreciate it. And that's why, I supported with a couple of your trainings, and, I heard you speak about, developing that cohort, that cadre in the future, and hopefully help to partner with you in the future and be a part of that. So
that's what I'm hoping for.
All right. I do have to drop because I have to go get my son. But again, thanks for the attention. I'll definitely catch the rest of the broadcast on the recording, YouTube recording.
Well, it's not going to be much more. There's nobody else live. I'm not going to just pontificate.
Okay.
But plus, I get the best gift ever. Shout out to my brother. He was supposed to come in town this morning to fly in his own plane, and he had scored 2 tickets to the SEC championship today here in Atlanta.
Nice, yeah.
He called me last night to tell me about his present for me and his regrets that he couldn't make it to the game because he just didn't want to take the chance flying his new plane or whatever it was. He just couldn't make it happen. So instead of watching the SEC championship, now you got to understand, my brother went to LSU. I graduated from Georgia. And so it was going to be a great rivalry game today, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I'm also an LSU fan. So if LSU loses, I'll be happy. And if they win, I won't be mad.
Right.
Because but I think Georgia's going to win. But look, thanks for being here, Carlos. Pick up your son. And I'll wrap it up a little bit. Since I'm alone, I'll just pontificate a little bit. But you have a good one, and thanks for being here. And remember to reach out, and I'll make sure you get the link to ask any question you have, and I can produce a video and promote it out. And then we're taking all these live sessions, chopping them up, putting them in the training to add supplemental training to what we do in the portal as well. So thanks for being here, Carlos. Thanks for trusting me, and I look forward to adding tons of value and creating that cadre of consultants that we get to work together and help each other and build and grow our own businesses. And I'll give you a chance to work through that, even through my partnership, to get your accreditations and things so you're ready to become a partner of your own. It's what I did with some of my other former students. So I'm looking forward to having that happen a lot. Yeah, Carlos, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Take it easy. Bye.
All right, have a great day. Go Dogs. All right. So now that we're live, just you and me, recap a couple of things, and I'm gonna get some good video right now. It's not the greatest camera, I understand, but I'll get a couple of short clips that maybe you can use both some ads, those kind of things, right? So if you're looking to enter the Salesforce ecosystem, and what that means is you want to benefit from the #1 CRM on the planet economically, whether as if you work for a company that has Salesforce, you can up your skills so that you become more valuable to your company. Because a lot of people say Salesforce is hard, and they say that because it's true. Because anything valuable is going to take effort to get the value out, right? If you watch the Discovery Channel like I do, there's shows like Yukon Gold and other things like that these guys spend millions of dollars to dig up the earth to find little specks of gold. Why? Because gold is valuable. And if you want the gold, you could spend a lot of time digging in the trails and running around. what I want to do is help you guide your way through the trailhead path to find where's your place in the ecosystem. Are you better to be like, maybe you need to be the reports expert in your company. Maybe you need to be the person that really helps the developer because you understand the business. And the more you learn about Salesforce, the more Salesforce reflects your business. So you can't leave the design of your CRM, especially sales, other CRMs you can, but with Salesforce, you can't leave your design and your structure to those who just understand IT, right? And you can't leave it to the people who just understand your business. So you have to have people that understand Salesforce, IT, and your business. It's all three. They're all different. IT is different than Salesforce, and your business is different than whatever ways you use your spreadsheets. Salesforce is very different. It's the kind of spreadsheet that allows you to force the kind of data into the right place so that you get the right picture and you make the right decision. So if you want to enter the Salesforce ecosystem, then you got to learn the fundamentals. You got to learn you got to become what I call brilliant at the basics. If you're an end user, you got to be brilliant at the basics. If you're an admin, you got to get brilliant at the basics and understand that fundamentally. But you also have to reinforce, remind, reinforce, and remember that all your users need that reminder and reinforcement of all the basics all the time too. If you're not doing that, you're going off the rails more often. And the quality of your data is going down and the quality of your engagement is going down. And really the result is that your end users are only using Salesforce for the bare minimum that you force them to use it. But that may not be good enough to run a successful enterprise, especially during economic downturns, changes in the marketplace, right? COVID-19 taught us that if there's a disruption in the flow, you've got to be able to react. And if without good data, you can't make good decisions. So, it's incumbent upon you, the Salesforce expert in your org or your client's org, to be able to remind, reinforce, and repeat those basic fundamental practices that lead to Salesforce productivity. And Salesforce productivity means you, the user, are willing to constantly learn and develop your attitude, skills, and knowledge of the tools that you're using. And Salesforce is a tool. It's not an answer. It's a tool, and it's used as good as the person swinging the hammer uses the tool. So what I'm committed to with SuperUser Academy and Sales and Technology Consultants. So Sales and Technology's goal is to serve the small to mid-sized market, but building an army of elite professionals that serve the market so that they and the clients experience the freedom, power, and joy of running their business like they intended when they started their business. So if you're on a journey to become an independent consultant, Sales and Technology Consultants, our vision and our values are aligned to make you the best you can be, and also your customer the best they can be, not only in their business, but in the tools that operate their business, so that they can become successful in their business by engaging and enrolling themselves and their employees to become lifelong learners. Because I'll say it like this. So not all learners are earners, right? Not all learners are earners. It's just because you learn doesn't mean you'll earn. You have to apply what you learn. You have to make it work. But all earners are learners. So whether or not you earn money by learning depends on you. But if you're committed to earn a good living, that means you're committed to create massive value to others, then you can't do it without becoming an excellent learner. So my 23 years of professional training and development experience, plus the 10 years prior to that, really, it's really 11 years prior to that, of training people just for myself, training people that were in my company and my team, those kind of things, to translate that to train other people's teams in their companies. What I've discovered is you got to have a hunger for learning, because you have to find what's the benefit for you. What's the benefit of learning Salesforce? What if you spent 100 hours learning Salesforce to get your admin certification? Let's just say it takes 100 hours. Let's say it takes 200 hours. And let's say those 200 hours cost you $10 an hour, right? Lost work, lost overtime, just the lack of your time's worth something, right? You're making $10 an hour, then anything you do that's not work costs you $10 an hour. So let's say it takes you 200 hours. You're working a $10 an hour job. You spend 200 hours. What is that? 5 weeks full time. Now you may not be able to afford it, but the 5 weeks full time you spent just studying Salesforce from zero to hero in 5 weeks. And so that's 200 hours times $10. That costs you $2,000 in time. Well, let's say you take the test and it takes you 5 times to pass the test. It's $200 for the first test and $100 for every retake. That's $600. So it costs you $2,600 to become a certified admin. Is it worth it? You tell me. Once you're certified as an admin, you could go get a job making $30 an hour. And after taxes, you would net at least another $10 an hour, right? Plus your 10 that you were working at your other job. What does that mean to you? Well, there's about 2,000 hours in a year, right? 50 weeks, take 2 weeks vacation. 50 weeks times 40 hours. Do the math, that's 2,000 hours. And you're making net $10,000. I mean, $10 an hour more. Again, $30 an hour as an admin, you can do that on Upwork part-time and get a lot of work, especially if you do good work. That's $20,000 a year, every year, moving forward, that you made from a $2,600 investment, of which $2,000 is opportunity cost, not even real cost, not even real dollars out of your pocket. It's what it costs you to not work to study. So I ask you, is it worth it? Well, look, let's say you make 200 grand a year. You make $100 an hour. You spend 200 hours. I mean, right? That's going to be 200 hours times $100 an hour. Let's just go to $100 an hour. That's about 180 grand a year, something like that, right? So it costs you $20,000. Well, when you're done, even if you only made $10 an hour more, net, you still get paid back $20,000 a year. So no matter how much money you make, learning Salesforce can boost your value in the marketplace. And look, that extra $20,000 you make for $10 an hour might be what you donate to nonprofits to help them run their Salesforce, which is a whole different skill set. Don't do it when you just get admin. But you could definitely contribute to the world. And whether you get paid cash or not is irrelevant. That's a poor measure of success, cash. If that's your only measure of success, you definitely need to join the SuperUser Academy and learn, because I've lost $1 million twice. That's not my measure of success. That's just a result of doing business in a particular way without Salesforce. So yeah, I didn't have Salesforce until 1999. When I sold my company, that having had Salesforce for the year prior might have saved my company from going out of business. Yeah, 1999. So I used Salesforce. I became a partner in 99 because I started doing CRM training for others, but it was a little too late for my company. And then Salesforce was just one of many that were out there at the time in 99. So I didn't, doing all my corporate training, I didn't see Salesforce again until 2004, 2005, 2006, because Salesforce integrated with everything and it was easy to find, easy to see. And then I did my first Salesforce training project on my own in 2008. I was like, wow, I had to learn a lot to teach it, but it had come a long way. Automation was there, workflow rule, all that kind of stuff. And I did it for one of the largest nonprofits in the country. And it took me a little while to finish up all my leadership training and other contracts that I had. But in 2015, I went all in with Salesforce. So I'm all in. Are you all in? If you're all in, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get where you want to go. It doesn't matter how much or how high you get where you want to go, whether you're making 50,000, 100,000 a year. But, you know, in this ecosystem, it's really up to you to develop your skills, your knowledge, your attitude. You need to ask attitude, skills, and knowledge. You need all three. And when you nurture and develop all three aspects, your tool set, your skill set, and your mindset, that's what ask is. You will get anywhere you want to go in the ecosystem. It's just a matter of picking a goal and following through to get to it. So if I want you to think about what you're willing to commit to, what are you willing to commit to for your life, family, career, community, and yourself? Like, what do you want? What does your community want? What does your community need? What does your family want? What do they need? What do you need? What does your career want and career need? Are you in the right career at all? If you're not sure if you're in the right career and you're thinking about going into the ecosystem of Salesforce, why don't you find out the right career choices first, and then you can apply Salesforce to that and get a double whammy for yourself. You see, I ignored some of my career preferences when I went off to be a consultant for a few years. And I realized, no, I chose training for a reason 23 years ago. It's because I love training, but I want the benefit of consulting, like the monetary benefit, the impact benefit, being able to impact a company so that people feel a little relief in their job. They feel a little relaxed. They make a better decision. They make a better choice. They have a little better quality of life. I can do that as a consultant. And what I discovered that, you know what, after doing is I don't really like doing the grunt work. Like I don't like doing some things that are just, I don't like doing a lot of the repetitive stuff. I don't like doing a lot of the research and investigation and the unraveling every other knot tied to the knot you're trying to unravel. That I love helping people solve that problem, and I love training people to do it. And I think I'll bring a better skill set with the mindset so you can learn the tool set and you can bring joy and satisfaction to yourself and others. And that brings me joy and satisfaction. If you win, I win, right? And if your customer wins, you win. If your customer wins, you win. So all you have to do is let me know that you're winning. And I just want you to be winning. And so if you'll come on this journey together, I'm happy to include you. Now, if you want to get certified and you haven't been certified before, and you want to get the greatest deal in certification, that I don't think the landing page has changed. I think we've messed up. This is December 3rd right now, live. If you went to Salesforce certification.deals right now, I think the deal is still up. It should have been down, but I think it's still up. I think I didn't take it down. I think I'll leave it up for a little while. And if you enroll in the system admin training class that I've recorded live, going through the trails, explain all the trails you got to go through in order to get certified. So you'll understand that whole admin certification trail mix. I'll be your trail guide. And I think the price is ridiculously low. Ridiculously low. As a matter of fact, it's so ridiculous that I might even leave it there. Like thought I was going to raise it. I'll talk to my marketing guru guy and see what he thinks. But I know if you buy the course, we've got in our little marketing, it'll give you a chance to say, look, perfect course to go with admin is the platform app builder. And you'll get a chance to buy into that class, both the recorded version and our upcoming live session, hopefully the 3rd week of January. If we get enough enrollments, I'm looking for a small group of people to make the class interactive and bring up lots of different questions and people with different levels of experience so that it becomes a more robust recording for everybody else to watch. That was Alexa talking in the background. For you. And look, once you're certified, that's the start of your learning, not the end. It's the beginning of the journey, right? But once you make the commitment of what you want, then then the next thing after the commitment, before you make those commitments, all of that, all the commitments you make should be under the umbrella of what's most important. Like, what is most important? Is it spending time with your family or giving money to your family? It doesn't have to be either or, but it does in the beginning. It does have to be, and you have to make a sacrifice. So if you're going to commit to one thing, you're going to have to sacrifice something: time, money, something, right? You're going to sacrifice, but be clear on that sacrifice. And when you're making a commitment, look at the sacrifice first and understand that the sacrifice that you know of before you commit is nothing like the sacrifice you must give after you commit, because it's different for everybody. There's no way for me to know what that is. But what you can do to fulfill on what's most important, if you want fulfillment in life, is after that commitment, you've identified that there will be sacrifice and that you will be willing to engage and pay the price. Then with a series of accountabilities, so if you can hold yourself accountable to the next thing to do each and every time, and that doing thing is a discipline. So commitment, sacrifice, discipline, and accountability will achieve in your life what's most important. And you can either do that as a deliberate act, or you can hope that the winds of fate or winds of change, or whatever the cliche is, that you just end up in a place that provides fulfillment, that you end up with what's most important. That's typically not the case, but it could be. I don't know everybody's situation. They're different people. They relate to the world different ways. The easiest way to relate to success is saying, I'm still alive. You can start your day off as a success. But if you want to achieve something that is meaningful and important to you, you have to know what's most important to you. And if you do, then you can make the right commitments with the right sacrifice, not too much, not more than you have to sacrifice. A lot of times you might think the sacrifice is more than it really is, but it's really just a function of doing the discipline that you said you would do as a sacrifice. I'm going to study 1 hour a day at this time, no matter what. And I got it on my calendar, and that's that. And then I got to work out whether I'm doing that thing. The discipline is something you do or not do. That's it. It's a behavior. That thing that it's not kind of behavior, but if you really want to become disciplined, then you have to monitor and manage your behavior, and that's what accountability is for. So what we strive to do here at SuperUser Academy is give you the structure of the commitment. You decide the sacrifice. We already defined the disciplines, the behaviors, things you need to study and do. You just have to commit to do those things. And then with the accountability piece, you can discover where you're out of sync, out of order, out of strength, right? Those things, and build those strengths so that you do become the person. Most times what people do is they quit because they make a commitment and they fail and they say, this will never work, so they quit. It's called New Year's resolution. The secret to New Year's resolutions is to not make them at New Year's. Make a new year when you discover the thing that is most important to you and make a commitment to it. Understand that you're going to sacrifice something else. So in the world of habits, the way that works is every habit has a reward. And that reward is what keeps you following the habit, like keeps the habit alive. But the habit itself has nothing to do with the reward in terms of what makes you do the habit. So that's what's called triggers. So there's something that triggers the behavior that gives you the reward. So the secret to making changes in your life is not to give up the habit, but rather avoid the triggers of the habit. And you can't find all the triggers because you haven't been paying attention to them right away. So the reason New Year's resolutions don't work is because you think if you make a big commitment that you'll get a big result. And the truth is, it's ultimately the smallest of things that make the biggest results. An example of that would be if you're flying a plane from Atlanta to Honolulu, and if you, without wind, anything interfering with your direction, you literally could set your direction once and head there. But that's not how it works on planet Earth. There's winds and temperature and moisture and ice and all these other circumstances that constantly throw the plane off course. So you're, as a pilot, you're constantly correcting, right? You got to avoid a storm in Houston. You got to climb to a different altitude. You got to go here, there. So all those different things are adjustments you have to make, but you have to hold on to the goal as important. And if you don't know what's most important, you're not going to hold on to the goal. It wasn't until I got clear that my role in this thing is to help you become an elite professional that serves the Salesforce market and the small business market, because really I want to teach you more skills than just Salesforce. There's other software you got to learn besides Salesforce. Heck, you got to learn flat, right? There's more to be done. So it's constant course correction until you reach your destination. And the way you do that is you look at the things that you need to do. So a pilot needs to check altitude, direction, speed, fuel, like they got to check all those things along the way. That's disciplines. Those are things they do. And then they reference all the time, am I still on track for my goal? Where am I now? Where am I headed? Is that destination over this amount of time? Is that going to take me where I want to go? Oh, I got to course correct. So it's a series of corrections you need to make. That's what accountability is for. Pilots account for their position in the sky around the globe. It's not flat. Around the globe all the time, dealing with all the factors. And if you're trying to just say, I want to be in Hawaii, great. You still got to get there, right? So think about what's most important to you. Think about the kind of work you want to do. What gets you up in the morning that excited and has you go to bed fulfilled? That's the kind of work you want to do. So videos like this for me, I'm starting to learn that this is a way that I can connect with people. Still working on the disciplines of checking the comments. So I apologize for all that. Maybe someone wants to intern with me and get a lot of stuff to do that. It'd be great. But let's help you get on your journey. Let's get you started. Let's get you started. Let's get you going. Let's get you producing results, right? The first result you got to produce is the commitment. So if you're not sure where you want to be, just commit that you want to go somewhere and then reach out. We'll schedule a session. I've got lots of things that will be available that aren't visible right now on the website, but they're available if you want it. I'll talk you through it. We'll help give you a career assessment to figure out what kind of job you're supposed to be doing anyway. And then if Salesforce can fuel that job, like my career assessment said I should be an adult educator. Great. I could be educating adults in, how to do their taxes. Wow. I don't want to do that. I want to do how to do Salesforce and how to be a consultant, how to run your own firm, how to build a team, how to manage that team. I love teaching you how to do that stuff, right? In the meantime, I'll put you to work till you're ready. Like we'll find ways to help each other. I'll teach you how to prospect, teach you how to market, I'll teach you how to sell, teach you how to serve, teach you how to deliver, and then do it all over again, right? So if you want to take that journey, hop on to superuseracademy.com, schedule a call with me. Superuseracademy.com, schedule a call. Yeah, it's an investment, time, money, effort. Yeah, it's going to take an effort because look, the way you're already going for free, if that's working. We do have a webinar December 6th on LinkedIn about, I don't remember the exact topic right now, but the exact topic is how you don't need a certification to get a job in the Salesforce ecosystem. And our guest earlier in this video, I didn't even know, but Carlos proved it. Some people got their certification before the job, some people got their job before the certification. Great. I don't care how it works for you. It will work. So you are not alone, and you are not you're not alone in trying to get a Salesforce job. You're not alone in trying to get certified. You're not alone in feeling like a failure. You're not alone in feeling like a loser. You're not alone in feeling awesome because you picked this great career. You're not alone in any of it. You're not alone in your big wins of getting a job or solving a problem for a customer or building a flow that actually worked. You're not alone. Lots of people are doing it. So we're just doing it in our group because I'm better at leading groups than I am joining them. So I'll just do that for a while. All right, well, look, I'm going to go watch Georgia LSU, and I'll be satisfied either way because I'm a Georgia grad and LSU fan. So I'm a Georgia fan too. But thank my brother again for scoring me some tickets because I hate buying tickets. But if you have tickets for me, let me know. All right, everybody, listen, remember to like, subscribe, share, those kind of things. And these live videos are not meant to be great. I'm going to take this video and chop it up. All our live videos are free. You'll pick up nuggets. If you find something that's really important, give me the timestamp of it, and I'll, make sure that is included in the training modules that we have. But the training modules are in the process of being redesigned, reorganized, and I've got some training tools for you. If you're just starting your journey, then definitely connect at superuseracademy.com/live QA call. put your question in there. Schedule a 30-minute call with me. We'll discover where you're at. I'll find something for you to buy. Salesforce certifications, deals. Hey, you might buy the admin class for $19 right now because I got to go to the game. All right, I will see you guys soon.